Hi folks, welcome back to the Deranged Reader. Alright, so I I know that like my Christmas reading blog is like coming to an end and my hair looks absolutely horrible, but we'll live with that. So I even though I said I think I said I was not going to do any Freida McFadden reviews on this channel. However, the two books that I read last month, The Wife Upstairs and One by One, definitely I was kind of like, what the heck is going on in these books and everything. So I kind of have decided that if I feel like that a review of her book should be on this channel, I will do it. If I don't feel like that it should be on my channel, I won't put it on my channel at all, because I want to primarily focus on horror and not so much on thrillers. Though if we go to Barnes and Noble, they're kind of side by side with each other, which is, that's them. That's how they do their bookshelves, and I'm not going to complain because I don't have any authority to complain. So the first one is The Wife Upstairs by Freida McFadden. This is I'm going to say, I'm not really good at like kind of calling this out, but it's more like a psychological horror or psychological thriller. And it's about this woman who is hired on to basically to take care of this woman who fell down the stairs in this isolated kind of home. And this is why I decided to put this on this channel, because of the isolation that goes on with this woman and with her patient, or with her charge. And we find out that the wife used to be a doctor, and she falls in love with this guy. It's been like, I read it like last month or the month before last, one of the two. So I kind of forgot like who the husband's name is and who the wife's name is, or even who the caregiver's name is. But I will talk about how I felt when I was reading this book. So I tried to get The Wife Upstairs on Kindle Unlimited. I'm currently reading on said Kindle, and I could not get my hands on it on Kindle Unlimited. It was not available. Apparently her publisher decided against it, so I had to purchase it or to acquire it, and everything. And so she arrives at this isolated house that's far away from people, and this guy like doesn't waste time. Like, I think maybe like a week after she's arrived, he basically starts hitting on her. Like, dude, you're fucking married. Why are you hitting on a woman while your wife's upstairs? This guy has absolutely no filter. Like, literally, he makes it very clear that he is interested in taking her to bed. And this woman that's there, she's married, but she's kind of like, well, I may be married, but I'm not blind, all this stuff. And it just feels like that, there's a lot more going on in that isolated house than what what you are first led to believe. And you have this diary that's on this woman's computer that her husband allowed her to use, and she's basically reading how this woman met the guy who became her husband and all that. And finally what happens is she takes away from the wife the one thing that's keeping the woman subdued, and that's her medication. And when that happened, she basically gets this gun that her husband has, and she basically ends up, for people that want to be spoiled, the wife ends up dead. And then we find out that this is how the guy wanted it. He wanted someone else to kill his wife. And he absolutely is a total control freak. He is a psychopath. And how he discovers that, how she discovers that this guy is exactly how the wife described him, is that she's like walking like across it, and she's hit with this really nasty smell, like, you know, like what happens when a body is decomposing. And it turns out that the ambulance driver, who was friends with this man's wife, is dead. I mean, he's literally in the shed. And what ends up happening is, I don't know if it is like she kills the guy or he's arrested by the police. I'm going to more of like she kills him. And then what ends up happening is she also discovers the woman that was taking care of this man's wife actually is the one who killed the ambulance driver. So it's a very much of a controlling situation where we are basically, we're not given all of the information until the author wants us to know. So I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. And then One by One is one of those books that really makes you wonder about your sanity. So you have this husband and wife, they're having these marital problems. And so they and a couple of their friends decide to go to this luxury, like, resort spa thing. And their car breaks down, and they are trapped in this situation where one by one they're being plucked, like you would do with chicken feathers. And what ends up happening is, it turns out to be a lot more than what we're led on to believe at the beginning. That there's a lot of stuff going on in this book that we are like not ready for. I enjoyed both books. I really did. What happened at the end of One by One was like, my mouth just dropped. I was not expecting that. But it's like, whoa. It was like, wow. So I have not read any of Freida McFadden's books this month. I do have a book, her next book, on my Kindle, which I will be reading when I get done with this book. I have a library book that I'm currently reading right now. But when I am done with it, I will read that book, and then I'll make a decision if I'm going to put it on this channel. Anyways, that's my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys around. So until next time, stay spooky, stay scary, and keep reading your horror books.